I saw a website this morning that I kind of liked the look of how they'd done something with the header. So I thought, let's take a look at what's going on there and how easy it would be to recreate this. Now, the beauty of this is using a simple bit of CSS code, which we can use an online generator for. I'll show you that in a moment. But also, if you're using something like Bricks Builder or you're using WordPress or Elementor, the technique is fundamentally the same. So this is what we're talking about. You can see we've got this kind of mesh gradient over on the right-hand side. We've got a cut line across it, and then we've got the sort of white section on the left-hand side with a nice kind of overlap. It's a very simple example, something I put together super quickly, but it demonstrates what I'm talking about. Now, we could, if we wanted to, also make this sort of section on the right-hand side, this mesh gradient. We could animate that. There's so many different things you could do. But let me show you the basics of how you could create something like this for yourself, and then you can go off and you can get as experimental as you want to. So first up, we need to create that mesh gradient. We're going to use Mesher, which is a totally free tool. I've covered this in the past. It's really cool. Link in the description. What this allows you to do is create your own gradient meshes. Now, what I'm going to do to start off with, I want to set the background to be white in this example. So we're going to come to the top, click on this red color chip, and we're going to set this to be white. So now we've got our starting point. You can see we've got all our other colors inside our mesh gradient. If you take a look on the right-hand side, there's all the colors that are being used. Now, when you come over the actual gradient itself, you'll see we get these little circles. So you can move your colors around. So you can customize the look of this as you want to, grabbing any of these colors, moving them around to get the effect that you want. If you want to change these colors, all you need to do is click on the color chip on the right hand side and change the color to something else. You can see this is now putting a little red inside there. You may want to have something more blue, whatever you kind of want. You can pick and choose it from here. Let's say, for example, you want to reduce the number of colors in your mesh gradient to make it simpler. Well, all you need to do is click on the little X to remove these, and I'm going to take this down to about 3 colors. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly just tweak the position of these colors to make most of it over on the right-hand side, because that's fundamentally what we are going to be using. So we'll position these colors where I want them. Something like that will do. And if you want to, you could randomize this. You could do what you want. You can have a lot of fun with it. I'd recommend having a play around. It's pretty cool. Once you're ready, all you need to do then is choose the export option, and this will then give you the basic code that you need, the CSS code you need to create that exact gradient we've just seen. All we need to do, copy that to the clipboard. We now have it available. For our example, I'm going to be using bricks, but like I say, you can use basically anything that allows you to put custom CSS in and be able to create your own custom gradients. Most builders will allow you to do just that. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to grab the right section. I'm going to choose the section there, which is the overall section of the entire header. This is where we're going to put that gradient mesh. So coming over to the left-hand side into our custom CSS. Again, if you want to use Elementor, you've got a custom CSS panel in the Pro version. Going to come down and we're going to simply use the root option, and inside there we're then going to go and paste in that code. And immediately you can see we now have that mesh effect. It already looks quite cool, and you could easily leave it exactly like this if you wanted to. But let's see how we can use a different gradient to create that slash effect to kind of have the mesh over on the right hand side. Very easy. So again, making sure we've got the same section, so it's the overall parent container that holds everything inside it. We're going to make sure that's still selected. We're going to come over, in this example, over to the gradient overlay. We're going to choose the apply to, and we need to set this to be an overlay because the background is already having that custom CSS applied to it. So let's choose overlay. And now we just need to add a couple of colors in to create that overlay effect. So we're going to add our first color in, and we're going to set this to be the background color we want, which is white. Now you can see that covers everything, because at the moment we've only got one color, so you can't have a gradient with a single color. All we need to do is duplicate that. And now we can choose, in this example, we'll say the first color, we'll choose this, and we'll set the opacity or transparency to nothing. And you can see now we have a gradient effect. Might not be able to see it perfectly, but it's there. All we need to do now is use these color stops. So if we say something like, let's do 40%, you can see we get this hard line now separating this roughly in the middle, about 40% down the overall size of that particular section. So now all we need to do is use the angle option to angle that particular line. So let's say we want to do something like 290 degrees. We now have this slash behind, in this example, the phone, and this is now taking up the right-hand side. And as you can see, we've got that mesh gradient inside it, and we've got our custom gradient, which is basically white to transparent with a hard edge, giving us the white background on the left-hand side and the gradient mesh on the right-hand side. Now if we simply go and save that and preview it, so now you can see we've got our gradient creating that slash, and we've got that hard edge in there. So the right hand side now has our mesh gradient, the left hand side has our solid color. Now if you want to see more about how you can create these mesh gradients and use them alongside things like glass morphism and some other really cool CSS effects, check out this video next. It's a really cool little video. As always, all applicable links down below. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts. Until next time, take care.